People want outcomes. They want to earn more money, or lose weight, or be more productive, or reduce stress. But the outcome is not the thing that needs to change. It's the system that precedes it. James Clear. You might be thinking now, how should you choose the right system for this? What do you think if I say that it's all about your day-to-day habits? Why do your day-to-day habits matter? Habits matter because they hold great influence and sway over how we think, act, and feel, which just about covers everything we do. We get into habits of thinking, doing, and feeling. And because it's the brain's shortcut to behaving and feeling certain ways, it becomes automatic behavior. That's why your day-to-day habits matter. But what if there was a simple way to build good habits and break bad ones? Becoming the person you want to be and be more productive would be a hell of a lot easier, right? James Clear's book Atomic Habits is that simple method. The book sold over 1.1 million copies worldwide. This video aims to introduce the basic atomic habits concept to make a better version of you as per your perspectives. James Clear originally learned about the ideas mentioned here because he had to live them. He had to rely on small habits to rebound from his injury, to get stronger in the gym, to perform at a high level on the field, to become a writer, to build a successful business, and simply to develop into a responsible adult. Small habits helped him fulfill his potential, and since you picked up his concept, I'm guessing you'd like to fulfill yours as well. Why do small habits make a big difference? It is so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action, whether it is losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or achieving any other goal. We put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. Meanwhile, improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes it isn't even noticeable, but it can be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference a tiny improvement can make over time is astounding. Here's how the math works out. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to 0. The impact created by a change in your habits is similar to the effect of shifting the route of an airplane by just a few degrees. Imagine you're flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If a pilot leaving from LA adjusts the heading just 3.5 degrees south, you will land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. Such a small change is barely noticeable at takeoff. The nose of the airplane moves just a few feet, but when magnified across the entire United States, you end up hundreds of miles apart. Similarly, a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. Small changes often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold. The most powerful outcomes of any compounding process are delayed. You need to be patient. Let me explain it by a simple diagram. We often expect progress to be linear. At the very best, we hope it will come quickly. In reality, the results of our efforts are often delayed. It is not until months or years later that we realize the true value of the previous work we have done. This can result in a valley of disappointment, where people feel discouraged after putting in weeks or months of hard work without experiencing any results. However, this work was not wasted. It was simply being stored. It is not until much later that the full value of previous efforts is revealed. If you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. How your habits shape your identity. There are 3 levels of change: outcome change, process change, and identity change. Outcomes are about what you get. Processes are about what you do. Identity is about what you believe. there are two directions of built habits. One is outcome-based habits. The second one is identity-based habits. With outcome-based habits, the focus is on what you want to achieve. With identity-based habits, the focus is on who you wish to become. The most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. Imagine two people resisting a cigarette. When offered a smoke, the first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." It sounds like a reasonable response, but this person still believes that they are a smoker who is trying to be something else. They are hoping their behavior will change while carrying around the same beliefs. The second person declines by saying, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." It's a small difference, but this statement signals a shift in identity. Smoking was part of their former life, not their current one. They no longer identify as someone who smokes. Your identity emerges out of your habits. Every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. The real reason habits matter is not because they can get you better results, although they can do that, but because they can change your beliefs about yourself. How to build better habits. Whenever you face a problem repeatedly, your brain begins to automate the processes of solving it. Your habits are just a series of automatic solutions that solve the problems and stresses you face regularly. The process of building a habit can be divided into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. This 4-step pattern is the backbone of every habit, and your brain runs through these steps in the same order each time. First, there is the cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It is a bit of information that predicts a reward. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine walking into a dark room and flipping on the light switch. You have performed this simple habit so many times that it occurs without thinking. You proceed through all 4 stages in a fraction of a second. The urge to act strikes you without thinking. You can divide this into 4 steps. The cue is walking into a dark room. The craving is you want to be able to see. The response is flipping on the light switch. The reward is you can see the room clearly with the light. If you do transform these 4 steps into a practical framework, then you can use it to design good habits and eliminate bad ones. Remember that the ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. I think you got some idea about the basics of the atomic habits concept now. The fact that you are still hanging around to listen, watching this video tells us that you want to change. I hope you got some tools to do so.